to.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, should be good to go.
I call the Sex Offender Risk Review Board meeting to order for November 9th, 2023. The meeting is also available on YouTube. Tracy, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Mindy Ackerman.
Present.
Gerarda Moore.
Present, Tracy.
Yep, okay. Mandy Ballinger. Sheriff Brown.
Present.
Jerry Bruce. James Chapin. Matthew Connolly.
Here.
Robbie Frederick.
Here.
Katie Gropper. Jim Morton.
Present.
Frank Mullis.
Present.
Bert Reeves. Lori Rozier.
Here.
So we have 8 members. We need 7 for a quorum, which allows us to vote on all cases, including recused cases.
All right, I'm going to now read the mission statement of SOAR. Our purpose and mission in protecting Georgia's children and communities at large by identifying convicted sexual offenders that present the greatest risk of sexually reoffending. It is the board's responsibility to determine the likelihood that a sexual offender will engage in another crime against a victim who is a minor or a dangerous sexual offense. Assessments will be used by SOAR to determine the risk level of the offenders. Offenders are classified as level 1, level 2, or sexually dangerous predator. It will begin by the approval and adoption of minutes, or I'm assuming everyone has received and had an opportunity to review the minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions or comments or concerns about the minutes? Do I hear a motion that we accept the minutes?
I motion to adopt the minute.
Do I hear there's a second? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, I don't believe we have any reports of officers or standing committees. Is that correct, Tracy?
Correct.
So we're going to move now to our unfinished business and the ideas for the board 2024 retreat locations and topics.
So I do want to throw out there really quickly. I actually had an idea because I was going through my emails and I was emailing Elizabeth Bingham, who she is with ICAC with the GBI. And she and I had been corresponding previously about CSUM offenders. That's kind of where she specializes, and the rate of sexual reoffense with that population, and what she sees, and also what's occurring in the prison system, since they have access apparently to internet and things at times when they get stuck in on their own. So I thought it would be really good for us to have some of that insight as to what she's seeing in the field, because I think it's different than what we're seeing in the research possibly. So I asked her if she'd be willing to speak at our retreat, and she said she'd absolutely be very happy to do that if you all would like her to speak on that topic, which I think it'd be really good for all of us, honestly. The other thing is Frank, you had mentioned wanting to know more about the Fed process, which I concur with you, because I do get a little confused about some of the federal guidelines and issues around registration and kind of how we come into play there. So I did reach out to one of my federal contacts, and she's reaching up to the higher ups to ask about somebody being able to speak for us regarding that. And that would give us, if we had those two, that would give us each would have a half a day if everybody's interested in those 2 selections. And then the second day, of course, is our board meeting. And we would make part of that day a working day. Like the first half of the day, it should only take half a day to do the board meeting. And then also we need to update our policies and procedure, our, bylaws, things like that need updating. So we could do that as well. So that's some of my thoughts about that.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
So we need to approve that right now, Tracy?
It doesn't need to be approved. I just need to know if that sounds good to everybody, if anybody would prefer something else. Things start getting booked really quickly. We got to book a place and start that process. And also being able to give any speakers enough time to kind of put in their schedule and not get booked when we're going to have our retreat, because we do have to think about date as well. So that's something else we need to discuss, but yeah, it doesn't need to be approved. It's just more of a conversation, what people think, how y'all feel.
Sounds
Oh, I
good.
think it's a good idea.
I do
Yeah.
too.
So do I.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. With locations, I didn't get any recommendations yet for locations. Of course, going any distant location is very expensive. So I don't have any of those. I would not say that those are an option, but some of the ones we've been to before and tends to be a little closer would be, so some ones to think about, unless you all have thought about other ones, but we've got Helen, Athens, Blue Ridge, Brasstown, and Amicalola are the ones that kind of came to mind for me, but some of you may have some other ideas or places you've gone or know of a good place that where there's not a long travel requirement for most people. And
Helen
out
would
of
be
those,
nice.
Cologne is always great.
Amicalola was on my mind and you said it.
ah,
And I go to Athens too much, so, but I do get attention, so.
I know my wife would vote on Helen.
Helen, yes.
Um,
Anybody else? So Helen and Amicalola being, anybody else, any thoughts?
Those are all good. I like Brasstown too. We go all the time with DJJ, so they're all good.
Okay,
Do you
so
want to?
what- oh,
Do
go
you
ahead,
want to
Mark.
check? Do you want to check the expenses and see which one of those three, since they're all great, and see which one we can get the best deal on?
So you want me to check Helen, Blue Ridge, and Amicalola?
Yeah, and just see which one we get the better deal on.
Yeah, absolutely. I will start looking into those three.
And which dates are we looking at?
I want to say, didn't we do,
I thought it was late
The
April,
third-
correct?
was it the third week in April, was it?
I believe so.
Yes, it was the third week in April. So the third week of April this year is, it would be the 17th through the 19th of April. And Easter, Kaylin had brought up, because it fluctuates so much over the years, is the end of March, so it doesn't affect Easter at all. So do those dates sound pretty good for everybody, at least at this point? Because
Yeah,
that's where I'll start.
Yep, that's good.
Everybody's good with that? Okay, so I'll start with April 17 to 19. So as far as everybody knows, at least it's online, those dates work for you at this point anyway. I know things can change, but so that's where I'll start, but I will be putting out emails. So that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other discussions in regards to that? Any other unfinished business that anyone wants to mention? All right. Any new business, Tracy?
Nope. I mean, that would be you, Frank, or the board.
Right. Any new business from the board? All right, Tracy, your executive director report.
Okay, so I know you guys get emails from me about state required trainings, or you get them specifically from the state, which is DBHCD would send it to you. there are specific trainings when they send them to you, they have to be done. It's a requirement of the state because you're a board member, they have to be done. And unfortunately, there's really nothing you can do about that. You just have to do it. Now, I will say with the sexual harassment training, a lot of you all, whether it's through your job already with the state or whether it's through being an approved treatment provider or polygraph examiner, you have to do it for the state already. So if you have those kind of things, because how DBHDD recognizes you having done it is through the DBHDD program. So if you already have those certificates, just make sure you save them and then you send them to me when the new year approaches or when you get that email, and then I'll send that on to them so then they know you've done it and you don't have to do it again. I think the other one that you have to do is cybersecurity, which honestly, it is really important. It's really a good training, and it terrifies me every time I do that training because there's just so much we don't know about. Because you still do emails through the state, you have to do that training as well as cybersecurity. So if you're struggling with getting in, then you just let me know. Like when you get that email, just let me know and I can help you. Well, DBHDD will help you take care of that, but please know that it has to be done. And they harass me, honestly, every day until it's done because they have to meet their requirements and their guidelines. So for them, it's important as well. So if you could do those.
Tracy,
Yes.
so if you're already with a state agency, then I just forward you the certificates, right?
Yeah, like the one you
Okay.
did, Mindy, you forwarded that to me and then I just sent that to them and you're good.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yes.
Even
So
the
we can
cyber,
do,
You
that's
can-
what I was about to ask. Can we do it for the cyber one also?
You
yeah.
should be able to get a certificate, send it to me, and then for some reason, I can't imagine it not being approved, but if for some reason it didn't, we would just let you know. But yeah, send me that certificate when that comes up. So, and then I was able to, with all the other ones, like they were still trying to do all that, and I let them know that y'all are board members, and so they stopped doing all those other ones because we have to do lots of different trainings through the year. So I think it's just those two. And then for the December, so the next meeting is December 14th, and hopefully most everybody can come in person was our plan to do kind of a holiday gathering in addition to the meeting. And I've heard from some people, Matthew, will you be able to come in person to that December meeting?
Yes, I'll make it happen.
Awesome. Let's see. And then let's see, Sheriff Brown, do you think you'll be able to come in person to that December meeting?
I will try my best.
Okay, great. And then Mindy, do you think you'll be able to?
Yeah, I'll try to come.
Wonderful. And I think James, you just called in, James Chafin.
I did.
And do you think you'll be able to come in person?
It turns out I have court on the 14th, so I'm not sure I will be able to come.
Okay.
But I'll see if I can get coverage for the 14th.
Okay, just let me know. I appreciate it. Thank you. And then everybody else will see. So the only ones I will not have heard from then is Bert and Katie. So that works out great. Okay, and so our next board meeting, December 14th, and I'll be sending you emails. So just be checking your emails between now and then, please. And that is all that I have.
Okay. Are we ready to go into the case list now?
Yes.
All right. Tracy, could you discuss the leveling process for the record?
Yes, so we received names regarding newly convicted or newly released sex offenders from the various agencies, as well as out-of-state sex offenders that have moved into Georgia. And when we get those names, we enter them into our system. Our investigators then collect all the documentation that's necessary, which does not just include sex offenses, but anything related to risk. And once they're finished, it goes to our evaluators. They review everything and put it into a report form and a recommendation of classification for the board members. Throughout the month, board members are reading those cases. Now, we only put a number on the case, a case number. There's no names for purposes of objectivity. And so I do want to mention the issue around recusals. And so if a evaluator sees that someone on the board has worked a case, they'll put them on the report as being recused. If they miss it and a board member recognizes that they worked on a case, then they would just let us know during the meeting that they're recused. However, it can be very difficult for somebody to recognize that it's a case of theirs because there is no identifiers in there. So a person may not even realize they worked a case because there's no identifying information. And a lot of the cases look very similar. They, and we all work with a lot of cases. And what that means is that, it's not necessarily clearly identified that it's been worked. And so if there's a failure to recuse, as long as somebody didn't, recognize that case, then they haven't made an ill decision about that. And also, for the most part, unless we don't have a unanimous vote, if we have more than a quorum, then the case would have proceeded regardless. So just kind of giving an idea about recusals, and since people on the board have cases that they may have worked in their field. So once the board does vote on, the board will vote on the recommendations, and then at that point, we provide letters to the appropriate people, including the offender, and the offender then has the ability to request reevaluation within 30 days and or a judicial review. If they do a reevaluation, once that's completed, which is the same process, they can request judicial review, a level 2 or prior, if they still don't agree with that decision. And that's about it.
Okay, so we will now move on to our level 1 cases. Are there any recusals?
So we have, and so I'll just read the recusals as we identified them. So, but if you all have additional ones that we missed, you can let me know. So in the level 1s, we had 940 Matthew is recused, 30793 Matthew's recused, and 30916 Jim Morton is recused.
Okay, any other recusals that we may have missed? Okay, did any members have any questions, concerns, or comments about the level 1 cases they reviewed prior to the meeting? Okay, if not, then I make a motion to, may I hear a motion to adopt the level 1 cases, please?
I make a motion.
I second.
Lori seconds it. Okay, Tracy, can I get a roll call, please?
Yep. Mindy,
Aye.
Gerard,
Aye.
Sheriff Brown,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Robbie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and they all pass even with recusals from both Matthew and Jim.
Okay, I believe we have 17 level 2 cases, and I have 2 recusals. Any other recusals?
We actually, oh yeah, so Frank, you recused on 25520 and 30879, and Matthew's recused from 30827.
Are there any other recusals that we may have missed? Okay, any questions or concerns or comments about the level 2 cases? Okay, if not, do I have a motion to adopt the level 2 cases?
A motion to adopt.
I second.
Jim and Gerard, thank you. Tracy, could I get a roll call, please?
Yep. Mindy,
Aye.
Gerard,
Aye.
Sheriff Brown,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Robbie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Lori.
Aye.
So even with the recusals from Matthew and Frank, we have, they pass.
All right. Now we will move on to our 8 sexually dangerous predator cases. Are there any recusals?
So Matthew's recused from 3, 19860, 22661, and 30064.
Okay, any other recusals we may have missed? Okay, are there any members with questions, concerns, or comments about the sexually dangerous predator cases that were reviewed? Okay, do I hear a motion that we accept the sexually dangerous predator cases?
So
I move
moved.
that we accept them.
Okay, I got Robbie. Was there a second?
I second.
A second.
Matthew seconds. Thank you. Tracy, roll call, please.
Okay, Mindy, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, and my vote is aye.
Gerard, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions, Tracy, and my vote is aye.
Sheriff Brown, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No question, no concern. My vote is aye.
James, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, and my vote is aye.
Matthew, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
Nope, my vote is aye.
Robbie, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions. Aye.
Jim, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions. Aye.
Frank, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, and my vote is aye.
Lori, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, my vote is aye.
Even with Matthew's recusals, they pass.
Okay, we have 4 reevaluation cases. Any recusals?
Yes, we have one with Matthew 23377.
Okay, do any of the members have any questions, concerns, or comments about the reeval cases? All right, do I hear a motion that we accept these cases?
I motion that we accept the reeval cases.
I
Is there a
second.
Robbie seconds. Tracy?
Yes. Mindy, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Gerard, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No questions, and my vote is aye.
Sheriff Brown, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No question, no concern. My vote is aye.
James, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Matthew, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, my vote is aye.
Robbie, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No questions. Aye.
Jim, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Frank, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
And Lori, any questions or concerns about any of the reevals?
No, my vote is aye.
They all pass even with the one recusal.
Okay, Tracy, did I miss, there was a re-level? Did that get lumped in with the reevals?
The relevels go with the level that they're actually in. So you had
Okay.
the level 1 that was 940.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make.
Yeah,
Just
just
had
how
that
the
question.
system does it. It goes in differently for where you guys see them. But they're still put in with the level 1 cases or whatever
Okay.
level they're identified as.
I want to thank, obviously the evaluators and the investigators and Tracy and Caitlin for their hard work. Again, we were able to get through these cases this month, and I appreciate it. We're coming up on the end of the year, and a lot of hard work this year. Thank y'all so much. Any questions or concerns before we adjourn the meeting?
No, just wish
Do I hear-
everybody Thanksgiving. Eat all the turkey you want.
That's right. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah. All right, do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
This is Gerard, I motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Have a
guys,
great day, everybody. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for everything, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hello and goodbye.